What's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte, and today we are taking a look at the latest on pending unrestricted free agent Johnny Hockey Gaudreau. The Calgary Flames have been in constant discussion and talks with the pending UFA, but nothing's gotten done yet. And throughout the season, there's been a lot of talk that he will return and that he does want to stay in Calgary. And then there's been a lot of reports that he's going to go in free agency, maybe closer to his home team, which is the Philadelphia Flyers. So there's been a lot of talk, but now the talk has shifted. Maybe him not going back to the East Coast, potentially going further west. That team, we'll talk about that today. So the Seattle Kraken, that is the main focus of today's video, but obviously we're going to be talking about the Flames because of Johnny Hockey Gaudreau. So we're going to start off with some Seattle Kraken stuff. The Kraken have a big decision to make this offseason. One of the big guys that's been generating a lot of interest on the trade market, according to Frank Saravelli, is defenseman Carson Soucy. He's one of the guys they picked up in the expansion draft from the Minnesota Wild. He's been a pretty good defenseman and a guy that I think that the Seattle Kraken like him as a player, but they're getting more guys coming in next year. And I think they're looking at this as an opportunity for them to maybe build up their blue line a little bit more. So if Carson Soucy is a 7th, 8th defenseman, what's the point in keeping him? Get him to a team that, for the right number and the right price, especially with the way his salary cap is structured for a team that's a little closer to the cap, he is a very nice depth addition. And that's where I think Carson Soucy will inevitably end up. Now, it does depend on what the Kraken do in free agency, and I think that's going to have a lot of say with what happens to Soucy. But, of course, I will keep you guys up to date on that. The other interesting report here from Frank Saravelli, he throws out not only just defenseman Carson Soucy's name out there, but also Jonas Donskoi, the forward they picked up, again, in the expansion draft from the Colorado Avalanche. The thing that's a little bit frustrating with Jonas Donskoi, his salary cap is a little bit on the higher side. That's one of the reasons that the Avalanche had exposed Jonas Donskoi. And to be honest, they just had too much more talent to protect as well. Jonas Donskoi is a guy that will definitely generate some interest as a guy that's a really good second or third liner on the wing. He adds some depth. The only caveat is his number is a little bit higher. So maybe there's a situation where Seattle does retain maybe 10% of that contract, get it closer to 3.5, maybe even $3 million. And that would allow the Kraken to get a pretty nice return for him. I truly think, again, Donskoi's had his struggles. He struggled to score goals at certain points. But this is a guy that I think will, again, as a depth piece, remember, he could be a nice addition somewhere. So that moves us into the bigger point of today's video, and that is Johnny Gaudreau. So this is from Darren Drager. He says, it wouldn't be a shock at this point if Johnny Gaudreau opted to test the free agent market. I don't think that's really too surprising to anybody. Again, considering the fact that the season is over, the trade deadline is passed, he can't get traded, he might as well explore his options. Even if he does go back to Calgary, maybe he listens to 4 or 5 teams and just says, listen, let's all meet up in California. Okay, this might remind you of another player, John Tavares, did something very similar with the Islanders. Meets up with 4, 5, 6 teams, has interviews with them in California with him and his agent, and they figure it out from there. That might be what ends up happening here. Johnny Gaudreau is a really good hockey player, and I think he's going to try and get the number he wants. Now, the rumor has been recently, and this is from Pierre LeBrun, the Seattle Kraken have been connected to Johnny Gaudreau. LeBrun states that the Kraken could be a sleeper team to nab the star forward and are a team to watch. Now, the only real situation I see Johnny Gaudreau going to the Kraken is he is looking at it. There's 2 factors. Is it the right fit? And does he want the bag? And sometimes you can't get both in the same scenario. So, for instance, let's say he's being offered $12 million to go to the Seattle Kraken. Well, if he wants the money, he'll take that offer. He doesn't care where he is. If he cares more about where he is and maybe if he's a better fit and wants to go to a certain place in particular, maybe he'll take 10.5, 11 million per season. You get what I'm saying here? So there are certain instances where that could happen. And I think Johnny Gaudreau, we don't really know where he stands on that. Is it the money or is it the fit? Because truthfully, if it was about the fit, I think he'd stay in Calgary, if I'm going to be honest. So if there's something to be said about he wants to go to a specific location, whether that's Boston, whether that's Philly, New Jersey, wherever he ends up, that has to be accounted for. And if he does sign with one of those teams, that's because that's the place he's likely wanted to go all along. So that's kind of what you're looking at in that situation. So this comes back to Darren Dreger with another interesting little tidbit. Johnny Gaudreau and the Flames have been talking about an extension, but there is no deal close. So that is a little bit more alarming. And again, that's been in the month of June that report came out. So that is a more recent thing. Not looking good in that regard for the Calgary Flames. I have to be honest, I do think he's going to end up going to Philly or New Jersey. I just have this, just something telling me that that's going to be where he ends up. But let me know where you guys think. In the comment section down below, let me know where you guys think Johnny Gaudreau will sign this summer. Does he return to Calgary? Does he go for the off-the-board pick going to Seattle? Or does he end up where we all kind of thought he was going to go all along, going back to the East Coast, playing in, say, Jersey or Philadelphia? He is from southern New Jersey and grew up a fan of the Philadelphia Flyers. So take with that what you will, but I'm sure that will account for something when he makes his final decision. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.